All right, great. Well, we're recording now. Thanks for joining the cluster add-ons call. Today is May 26th in most time zones, and we have a pretty short agenda. So just wanted to discuss, we've got anybody new that's bringing something new to the conversation or just wants to introduce themselves? I think I recognize most people on the call. Okay. And then, yeah, with regard to some follow-up from last week, I did end up looking at the related controller runtime and API machinery discussions with regard to managing informer lists, specifically removing informers from controllers that are actively running. This is a pretty peculiar conversation. Design was never really meant for this, and so it has some interesting side effects. There was a proposed patch that was a very simple mechanism, but it seems like some folks didn't like that the safety portions of how it was implemented. And this relates to the add-on discovery mechanisms, but it could also potentially be quite related to dynamic subscription lists for operators managing different resources. Go ahead and take a look if you'd like to be part of that conversation. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention was that we had been working with Samtochi, who's on the call here. And Samtochi, if you haven't met her already, she's working with us through Google Summer of Code. Google Summer of Code is not actually officially started yet, but you know, I guess the stuff we're working on is just cool enough to be a good distraction from university studies. So thanks, Samtochi, for getting started on all of the work already. We really enjoy working with you. Samtochi has been getting some things done with documenting how to and making sure that the KubeBuilder v2 and KubeBuilder declarative pattern workflow is functioning properly. And yeah, Justin, did you have anything?
Just a clarifying question. Welcome to Samtoshi as well. It's wonderful to be working with you as well. On the previous topic, are there links that we can, or an issue that on the stopping controllers? I didn't know where that discussion was taking place.
So if you look at from the previous week, the May 12th discussion, when you go to the add-on discovery pull request, there's a proof of concept there that Nick was putting together. And then if you go down to the first discussion, I ask about this idea of subscribing and unsubscribing to GBKs. And that starts the breadcrumb trail. So I could drop this link.
935.
That sounds right. I remember it being quite a recent issue number.
I think it's this one.
Yeah. A controller runtime 935 is the issue, and then there's a PR that's related to it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, and this has some interesting relation to some third-party work. I think it was the people who were doing Gatekeeper, if I'm not mistaken, had several kinds that they were managing in CRDs, and they wanted to be able to register, deregister informers based off of which kinds were being used.
Yeah, I mean, as I understand Gatekeeper, it can enforce policy on any kind, and it does it through instances of CRDs that are registered dynamically or can be registered dynamically. So yes, one could imagine that they would effectively start and stop watching kinds arbitrarily in ways they can't predict.
Yeah, this whole area of extending the API server at runtime has really causes some thorny things that you need to work around. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, it's the same problem with like trying to figure out an add-ons dependencies when just installing the thing and upgrading it. And creating there are clear ways to do things, and then there's a whole middle ground of like valid or possible ways to use the machinery that just get really funky. Yeah, neat. All right. Well, that's all I had to bring to the table personally, and no one else is really jumping in to add to the conversation. So if you've got something, please speak up now or ping in the Slack channel at a later date. Cool. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll resume this discussion at a later point. Stay well.
Thanks, Lee.